Slave 1 was the trusted ship of the renowned bounty hunter Jango Fett, before it was passed down to his son Boba Fett after his death at the hands of Mace Windu. So with the Slave 1 making a very important appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 6, and probably 7, I'm going to break down 7 awesome facts about Slave 1. Before we get into it, make sure you absolutely shatter the subscribe button with your seismic charges for more awesome Star Wars lore content. Number 1. Slave 1 was a former prison patrol vehicle from the Horrid Prison moon of Oovo IV. Slave 1 was a modified Firespray 31 class prototype patrol and attack craft that was actually used as a police vehicle to patrol the dreadful prison known as Desolation Alley, which was a maximum security galactic prison where some of the worst scoundrels, criminals, and black market dealers would be sent. Many of the galaxy's most well-known and dangerous bounty hunters served time here for their actions, including Aurra Sing, who was imprisoned in Desolation Alley after being captured by Aayla Secura. The shipbuilding company, Kuat Systems Engineering, produced only 6 of these prototype ships over their lifetime, and all 6 of them were bought by the Desolation Alley prison on Oovo IV. Apart from the Firespray class patrol ships which roamed the perimeter of the prison, all entrances were guarded by heavily armed soldiers, and specialized riot guards were deployed to the underground levels where the worst and most dangerous criminals were kept. These riot guards were so well trained and so feared that they were armed with absolutely nothing but their bare fists. These guards could kill any prisoner who attempted a breakout with just their fists. And this connects us straight to the next fact. Number 2. Jango Fett stole Slave 1 from the Desolation Alley prison with Zam Wesell. While hunting for the Dark Jedi Kamari Vosa, Jango Fett was eventually led to the Desolation Alley prison on Oovo IV. While there, another prisoner began a prison riot, leading Jango to attempt to leave, and after fighting his way through armed guards and dangerous prisoners, he made it back to his current ship of the time, Jasta's Legacy. After returning to his ship, however, he soon noticed that the rival bounty hunter Zam Wesell was attempting to hijack his ship and was being quickly overrun by guards. Because of this, Jango helped her to defeat the horde of guards, but the two very soon noticed one of the Firespray class patrol ships arriving nearby. This patrol ship very soon after fired on Jango's ship, brutally destroying it. After this, the two received a tip from the elevator manager of the prison, which allowed Jango to make his way into the prison's hangar bays, where he was able to steal one of the Firespray class patrol vessels with Wesell and zoom away from the area. But before leaving, Jango launched 2 missiles back into the hangar bay, destroying the other 5 Firespray patrol vessel prototypes to ensure that he would not be chased during his escape, and that no other bounty hunter would be able to have one. Number 3. The Slave 1 is crash landed on TAKODANA in Battlefront 2. If you've played the TAKODANA map on Battlefront 2, you've almost certainly noticed that a very familiar ship is crash landed there. It's not fully clear if this is actually Slave 1, but it more than likely is Boba Fett's ship, because the one on TAKODANA has scorch markings in the exact same spot that the Slave 1 did. The chances of 2 ships of the same class having one exact same scorch mark in the exact same place is already incredibly low, and this one has 2. So it likely is Boba's ship. On top of that, as mentioned in the previous facts, Jango Fett did destroy the only other 5 ships of this model that were created while escaping from the maximum security prison on Oovo IV. The Star Wars bounty hunter game isn't fully canon anymore, but Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have shown that they are willing to stay true to old EU material, with The Mandalorian at least, so it's probably still canon that the Slave 1 is the only ship of that class. And this does raise a lot of questions about how Maz Kanata was able to collect so many very important items, like her flags from the Boon to Eve classic pod race, and of course Anakin's lightsaber, which that one was explained in a comic, so let me know down below if you want me to cover that. But let me know how you think it ended up on TAKODANA in the comments down below. I hope we get some answers about that one pretty soon. Number 4. Slave 1 had a force cage to hold captured Jedi and captured force users. In the bounty hunting profession, there is definitely going to come a time where one is given a job to capture a Jedi or an equally strong Force user. Force cages were essentially prison cages with extra protections against the Force and weapons like lightsabers. Most were created with energy shields and consisted of a column connected to the ceiling with reinforced connections, allowing the energy to flow through the barriers. Obviously, you wouldn't want to keep any Force user, no matter how little training, inside of a normal prison holding cell, so the Force cage was installed in Jango's ship so that he would never have to worry about an escaped Jedi. Number 5. Slave 1 had 2 different configurations, one for Jango, one for Boba. During Jango's years of operating the ship, he used a very unique and awesome configuration for the Slave 1. His configuration had the following: 2 passenger slots, 6 prisoner slots, and of course the 1 Force cage for holding Jedi or Force users that he had captured, As for weapons, Jango's configuration had the following: 2 twin blaster cannons, 2 rapid-firing laser cannons, 1 concussion missile launcher, and finally 1 mine launcher loaded with 9 Void 7 seismic charges. As for Boba Fett's configuration, he kept the same amount of passengers and prison holding cells, but for weapons he had 2 GN40 twin rotating blaster cannons, 2 HM8 concussion missile tube launchers, an ion cannon, 2 AASL proton torpedo launchers, each loaded with 3 torpedoes, an F1 tractor beam projector, and a homing beacon launcher loaded with the same 9 Void 7 seismic charges. And on top of all of this, both configurations had enough storage space to hold enough food and other supplies to live on for a whole month without leaving the ship. This was definitely useful for long stakeouts and bounty hunters that lived way out in the Outer Rim or other hard to reach locations. Finally, both configurations also had military-grade sensor arrays, 4 XF-16 power generators, a cloaking device, along with sensor jamming systems and decoy systems. Definitely suitable for all of his bounty hunting business. Number 6, Slave 1 was destroyed and then rebuilt by Hondo Ohnaka during the Clone Wars. During the Clone Wars, Boba Fett teamed up with fellow bounty hunters Aurra Sing and Bossk before traveling to the planet Florum, where they would meet up with a friend of Aurra Sing's, Hondo Ohnaka. After the arrival of Jedi Padawan Ahsoka Tano and Master Plo Koon, Fett and Bossk were quickly captured, but Aurra Sing attempted to escape inside of the Slave 1. As this was happening, Ahsoka leaped onto the hull of the ship and managed to slice a wing off with her emerald green lightsaber. After this, Aurra Sing unfortunately lost control of the ship, sending it smashing into the hard rocky ground, pretty badly destroying the ship. Following this incident, Hondo Ohnaka, everyone's favourite pirate, took ownership of Slave 1 for a short period of time where it was repaired and repainted with his logo before it was eventually returned to Fett near the end of the Clone Wars. I'm also really hoping we see him make an appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2, where he might get to lay his eyes on the ship for one more time. Number 7. There was actually a Slave 2 and Slave 3 in Star Wars Legends. Slave 2 was a Pursuer class ship created by Mandal Motors and was used by Boba Fett after he was able to escape from the Sarlacc pit. After escaping the pit, he vowed to get revenge on Han Solo, and since the Slave 1 was impounded, he obtained a new one for about 225,000 credits. His new ship had a nice array of blaster cannons, an ion cannon, a tractor beam, and had 5 shielded prisoner cages. It was even rumoured that one of the cages was molecularly reinforced so that it could hold a Wookiee, most likely Chewbacca, since that was his main rival's crewmate. He then used Slave 2 to keep his profile low until he wanted to confront Han Solo. Eventually, the two did come face to face on Nar Shaddaa, where Fett explained to Han Solo that he managed to survive the pit, much to Solo's surprise. Han eventually managed to escape Boba, and Slave 2 was put into a dry dock, where, as you can probably imagine, it was stolen very soon after. After that, there was the Slave 3 which Boba piloted, but almost nothing is known about that one. So those are 7 facts about Boba Fett's awesome ship, the Slave 1. Make sure you let me know down below which of these facts you didn't already know. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.